It means a lot to some people.
Mm-hmm.
The death of a human life. That's a weird expression that you just made up.
No, I didn't. It's not an expression.
No.
It's just what it is. That's what happens. We live and then we die.
It's the
And
end
it's
of a human
unfortunate.
life. It's not the death of a life. That's sort of
Ooh,
everything.
that is a. I shouldn't laugh at that because there's sadness right now, but that is a. The end of life is the death of life. Death. I don't know what.
Life implies death because nothing lives forever. So, I mean, to say the death of a life is almost redundant.
Well, we're talking about this. I can see that we're live. You just go on and we just talk.
Yeah, that's our gimmick, and and now people want us to sing profanities on our way out. So it's all good.
Yeah, they like it. But yeah, we're talking about this because Carrie Fisher died. It's very sad. Rest in peace. I guess I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just what it is.
Yep.
Life happens, and then death happens, and that's coming for all of us. So that's unfortunate. But we're not here to talk about that, I guess. It is what it is. We're going to talk about first of all, what's up, Sean?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good, but you are not in the greatest of moods, I understand.
I'm not feeling it. I don't know. I'll be all right. I'll punch through it. Well, I mean, the Carrie Fisher thing bums me out. That's for one thing. I thought we were past that on Friday. We were, she was my jam in more ways than one. Ooh. So that's a bummer. 60's young too, man. That sucks. I mean,
feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, she's less than 20 years. She's 16 years older than me. That's well, there you go.
Getting there. Employee of the Year mug today. Yeah, it's sad.
So there's that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not.
Even before that, you were kind of. Ugh.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. I had a good Christmas. Was fine. Spent it with the in-laws.
How was your holidays, man?
The Steelers won. That was good.
Did you get any new gifts? Did you get any really cool gifts for Christmas? I got one really good one. I'm hoping you got one too.
I got. So apparently I'm going to follow in Finn Balor's footsteps because Julie got me this one of my favorite movies of all time is WALL-E, and you can make fun of me. I don't even give a shit.
That's a fucking awesome movie.
I know, but somebody out there will make fun of me, and I don't care. It's an awesome movie. I love it. So she got me this super man Lego build. Apparently it takes 60 hours to build WALL-E out of Legos.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I have to figure out when I'm gonna do that. But I'm gonna follow in Finn's footsteps, and I'm gonna try to do some Lego this year. My 2017 resolution.
So holidays are
I got some good stuff, but that was probably that was the standout.
Sure. Holidays are for kids and families. I'm not a kid. I don't have a family. So there's no tree in my home. I didn't put up a Christmas tree or anything like that. I didn't really celebrate it. I mean, I have a roommate who's staying with me right now who made ham. That was great. But I did get one gift. I got one gift from my dad, who, what he does every year is he'll give everyone, he has 5 kids. We all get the same thing. Last year, it was a pocket knife. This year, it was a helicopter. Nice. One of those mini helicopter gimmicks with a controller. You plug it in, charge it up, and then you fly the son of a bitch around. I've been having the most fun. I should actually, if people say they want it, I will post a video or link to a video of my buddy's girlfriend trying to fly it and very nearly killing me, and me screaming, "Oh my God!" just in terror at how close it is to my face. I was filming at the time. It's been awesome. Nice. It's amazing. A little $20 helicopter from Amazon. It's the greatest gift I've ever been given. It's the only gift I got this year.
That's nice. I like your dad's approach. That's it's like the groomsman approach. Like every wedding I've ever been in, and every groomsman gets a fucking money clip or something you'll never use again. And he keeps it even. Everybody gets the same thing.
Everyone gets the same thing.
My brother-in-law got my nephew a drone, a little fucking little mini Vanguard 1. It wasn't the big one, but and we played basically all the boys played with that after the Steeler game for 2 hours outside in the dark in Delaware, crashing it into trees and shit.
The controls are so sensitive too. So it's like, I'm like telling Katie, I'm like, don't panic, because you're gonna hit up on the throttle and it's gonna go shooting up into the air if you do it too much, and you'll hit the ceiling. You're not even supposed to take this one outside. It's so small.
Oh, really?
I said, and then you hit the ceiling, and your instinct is to just yank all the way back down. And if you do that, it's gonna drop like a fucking stone. She did this right above my head. Like, don't panic, and then it comes down, and then it's just everywhere, and she's dying, like scared to death. And it's like just this little thing. Like, even if it hits you, it's not gonna hurt, but it's awesome. It's the coolest little thing. Because again, I'm the 30-year-old man at this point. Like, that's one of the best gifts you've ever gotten me, Dad.
Absolutely.
And it's just a $20 thing from Amazon. But yeah, I do like the approach of just, you're all getting the same thing. I don't want to hear anybody bitching at me. I didn't even see him. My life as such, my family, I didn't even get invited to the family stuff. I'm a shut-in. That's life.
Well,
I do it to cover wrestling, and I guess we'll talk about that now. Full disclosure, I didn't watch Raw. That recap was ghost written. By that, I mean an actual ghost.
Wow.
What did you think about the show?
We're
past 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So we did better than Punk did.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, that was probably, I thought that was a very well written and delivered line.
That was great.
I didn't freak out as much as most people did.
Oh my God, Stephanie McMahon has my heart. She can keep it.
Yeah, I'm not with you on that either, but that's
all
okay.
The pieces left of it are hers.
All right.
You like the implied shattered nature of my soul.
I know. It's even joyously giving your heart to someone has a melancholy tinge to it.
Yes. Ooh, poetic, Sean. I'm wet. So, Stephanie, first of all, we're going to do it again, I guess, and I don't give a rat's ass. People hate us for it, and they do. Stop fucking doing it. Why are you chanting CM Punk?
Oh.
Why? What are you doing? What's the fucking point? And people are like, he doesn't care. Yes, he does. Like, if there's someone who cares, it's the guy who tells you time and again he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really care. Life's going great. No, life's going horrible, and you care more than you'd ever want to admit. He probably gets off on it. Maybe doesn't watch the show, but I
think his life is good, but I think he does like fucking with WWE in any way possible. So yeah.
And I definitely think he cares. But at the same time, why do the fans? I mean, what are you trying to do with that? Like, at this point, what's the idea? Because it's been, when did he actually leave? He walked out in January of 2014? Almost 3 years now.
Yep.
You fucking believe that? It's almost been 3 years. It's Chicago. He lives in Chicago. I get that. But even then, it's like, come on. What are you trying to accomplish? What's the goal? Do you just want to look? I have no good even theory as to why someone would want to do that. Why would you go to a show and think it's a good idea to chant that? I mean, at this point, it's a legit question to you. What do you think?
I mean, I don't get it. I don't know. I'm unsure of what I think about the whole like chanting in general, other than like, cheering somebody or booing somebody. I'm a little bit, I lean a little bit old school in that regard, and I guess American, as we know, when fucking the entire United Kingdom wanted to lynch me for not liking Takeover London chants. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm of the opinion that in general you should kind of cheer, boo, a little clever something that ties in here and there, but I don't. I mean, this to me, something like the CM Punk chant or the what chant, I think when you do it just because the show started, it takes away any power that you think you were going to have with it anyway. Like, you could actually, like, it could be sort of like a protest chant. Like, if we get to, you don't want to see fucking Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus the Best Friends for the 400th week in a row. So chant it during that.
No, just say that.
But you just because, yeah, I mean, I agree in general. Like I said, I would just prefer to to me, the best thing you can do to tell WWE that you're dissatisfied is sit on your fucking hands. Like, that's what they don't want, is a silent arena. So anything, I mean, if you're paying your money to go there and chant CM Punk, Vince McMahon has won already. So
if that's
you're an idiot.
So to be clear, the distinction we're making here, and there's a distinction to make, is if you chant that, mind that you can affect change, you are wrong. You're misguided in your aim. Because even doing that, you're giving ammunition to Stephanie to have that great moment to where she made all of you look like fools and made Punk look like a fool and made herself look great to me. I mean, everyone I saw thought it was awesome. There was no person who was like, oh, that's lame of them. How dare they? I mean, it was really just like, this is a cool, probably the best moment on the entire show. And it was only possible because of your, like, you know, if that's the idea. If the idea is we need to protest something that they're doing. And I don't think it was, because it started right when Steph came out. And then it kind of kicked up a little bit later with Reigns and Rollins. And I don't necessarily disagree with the people who were kind of tired of that, because I am too. But it's just not, like you said, if you want to protest something, like that thing, even in NXT, like this is how you, dude, reading a book. In the front row, not watching her match. He's doing something else while that's going on. That's how you do it. If that happened, they would make a change. I guarantee it. Something would happen. They would never be okay with that. An entire arena. And that's the thing too, is it's like you kind of expose your actual feelings on the matter, because you're not ever going to be quiet, because you do care. And they know you care, and they play on that. So chanting Punk is not going to help anything.
And as long as you're in the arena, even if you're reading the book, you've sort of fucked up your protest a little bit. I mean,
true.
If you really didn't care, you wouldn't be watching. So
that's true. If you really didn't care, you just wouldn't be. Well, I mean, because there's so much, it's variety, right? There's so much that's going on. So you could go there for one thing and not care about anything else.
Right. But you're still, I mean, exactly. But that's Vince's business model at this point, especially with Raw.
It's true.
It's a 3-hour variety show. It's got a bunch of shit going on. You watch it because Braun Strowman might throw a Christmas tree, but other than that, you don't really like it. You're like entertaining friends, and then you see Braun come on the screen, and you stop what you're doing and watch him throw Christmas trees at people.
Dude,
but Vince got your money for 3 hours. I mean, you were tuned in just to see in case that happened. Yeah,
he sure did. Braun Strowman brandished a Christmas tree in this show, and if you don't like that, I don't know that you like pro wrestling. There's the thing about that, because dude, come on, he walked out looking mean as shit with a Christmas tree. I was like, did this really happen? This motherfucker's walking down the aisle with the meanest look on his face with a Christmas tree in his hand, like, I'm gonna beat somebody to death with this thing. How fucking awesome is that? Like, that's why I watch wrestling. Cool little moments like that. Literally no other reason at this point. I like what they're doing with Strowman. You notice the chants? They were chanting for him, like they were chanting.
Oh, I know but I was impressed because they were chanting for him, and then they also cheered for Sammy when he came out, which is like the best of all possible worlds.
Which is goes against our thing, boo the heels, cheer the faces. But I think with a town like Chicago, and in a situation like this with what they're doing, it shows that like it's working.
They're getting exactly. They're on board with the whole thing. I mean, that's why. I mean, I'm not going to complain about.
Yeah. And then we'll cheer the good guy when he comes out to beat this guy that we were just kind of cheering. But like, FYI, what you're doing is good. He's good. We like this. This is great. Keep going with it, kind of thing. So I like that. So as much as we'll talk shit on him, for the Punk chants, they did good in that regard, I think.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, I think. I mean, to go from where we were this time last year, where people were like, it was a fucking LOL TNA level joke that Vince wanted Strowman to face Taker at Mania, to where everybody is fucking Strowman marks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I don't want to take full credit for that, but...
Yeah, you probably should.
But I like what they're doing with that last man standing match next week. Are you excited for that? I'm not.
I don't... I
just totally contradicted myself.
I don't know where you go with that at this point. I was kind of just hoping we were going to like sort of move on from the Sammy thing and push him to the next level and figure out something else. Sammy got his Pyrrhic victory by surviving at Roadblock end of the line. And
yeah, you can't go back to it now. Yeah.
No, I mean, Strowman, I mean, at some point now, Sammy's going to get killed. And I guess they're going to do like the fact that he fought really hard before he got killed is good. But Zayn's not winning.
He's going to get killed.
I mean, I'm just being realistic.
That's for sure going to happen. There's no doubt about it. There shouldn't be. And maybe the thing is that there is, and that it would be unfortunate if you won the match. It really would kill so much of it for me. And they kind of, even there was anger on my part from just what they did before with the bullshit finish. Like you said, he survived, so it's a victory, and Foley was trying to quit for him. I mean, You tell that story right, I get it. And Strowman's response has been the best thing about it. Zayn just disappeared, which is weird, and then showed up again.
Well,
and
Foley
he's like,
sent him away or whatever. Apparently, is
yeah.
what
And then now Foley's gone. It would seem. Finally, thank motherfucking God. I hope he's okay physically, but I'm not mad that he's not around. But then now he comes running through. Like, what? Okay, so what's the issue? What's his goal? He won, right? That was the idea. He survived and he won that match because he got the 10 minutes. So now he wants to like win in a better way, is what they're doing, I guess. I don't know. I don't like that part of it. But Strowman, his response has been the best part of all of this because he just freaked the fuck out at the idea that he didn't squash Sammy, and now he needs to do that, and he'll murder, death kill literally everyone on the roster to get that chance. That's good stuff. That's the good kind of storytelling we want. It's nothing in depth. There's nothing to break down, right, to talk about for 20 minutes, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, my critique of it, I guess, is, I mean, it sort of ties into what we were talking about last week, I think, and goes back to when people got upset that Bayley was like participating on 5-on-1 beatdowns, is they just have a really weird way of presenting baby faces these days. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like even last night, Sammy attacked from behind and then ran away. It's like, that's the weirdest fucking baby face behavior I've ever seen.
Is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it depends on who the enemy is, though. Because, I mean, would you feel that way about, give me a comic book comparison, superhero movie of a big.
I mean, I guess that's like, I mean, if you're saying that's how Batman fights Superman, but even then, Batman stands right up to the guy and is like, I know you can kill me, but fucking bring it. He doesn't sneak attack from behind and run away. He's got he's got some things. He's got a kryptonite ring in his glove that Superman doesn't know about and shit, but he doesn't run away after he smacked him on the back of the head.
Well, I think it's the terminology that you're
there was no trap. Like, Sammy wasn't luring him into a trap backstage or something even. It was just, I showed up during your match, sneak attacked you, and ran away.
I was just gonna say. You said he attacked him from behind and like he was bad about it.
I mean, that's even how WWE tweeted it, was that Sammy attacked from behind.
Right. I feel like sneak attack is the better way to put that because that's what that is, right? So he's not a bad guy who would engage in things like.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying it's not. I mean, if you want to make Sammy look like this uber babyface who's going to stand up to do the right thing no matter what and never say die, this is a weird setup to it. I mean, this is not the same guy who's like begging Foley to not throw in the towel. He's already knows he's got a match next week. I don't know.
I mean, I can see that in a sense, but also, I mean, I don't know. Like, Strowman's such a big monster that it's like, you don't want him to be stupid either. You don't want him to be Becky Lynch, to where he's falling for the same shit, and he's like, I'm actually going to get smart about this, and how do we attack this enemy, this monstrous motherfucker?
He didn't even address, like, we didn't even get why. Like, he didn't come out and say, hey, stop picking on little guys and come after me or something. I mean, there was no context to it. I don't know. It's just not. If I was writing a guy to be the big baby, to be the hero of the piece, I would not have had him presented the way he's been the last 2 weeks. Just if Mick Foley sent him away, which you don't throw in the towel, but I'll go on a vacation to save my life.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back and I won't say anything about the fact that he's been kicking everybody's ass all over the arena, but I'll run in and get a cheap shot in and then run away.
Now, it's also, I mean, there's a part of this too where it's like, I like a series. I've mentioned this before. I like the Mitch Rapp series. Vince Flynn wrote it. Anyone who hasn't read it, go do it. I strongly suggest it. But the antagonist in that, or the protagonist in that, is Mitch Rapp, and his whole thing is he kills terrorists. His girlfriend was on a plane that terrorists blew out of the sky, and it fucked him up, and so they found him. He's a really good athlete, whatever. The director of the CIA finds him, recruits him, trains him, and his entire thing is that he just kills terrorists in a brutal, violent fashion. Now, you never at any point think he's a bad guy, but a lot of the shit that he does, like I just said, he's sneaking up on these dudes in the middle of the night and driving a knife through the back of their skull. And you say, well, that's not what good guys do. Well, okay, no, but like there's some shades there that you can kind of work with where it's like, this is what he needed to do to accomplish the ultimate end goal, which is to end this fucking terrorist before he can fucking hurt other people. And, they in the books, they talk about the distinctions between things like, is this revenge or retribution? Or is this, things like that, concepts like that. I kind of look at it the same way. Mitch Rapp is a good guy. He does bad things as a way to accomplish ends that are ultimately good, but individually evil. Inherently, right? Taking a man's life is an evil thing to do, but you justify it in all these other ways. I think it's kind of the same thing here. We know Sami Zayn to be a good guy, but you cannot use, you can't be like traditional babyface, you know, one-on-one, never attack you from behind, never do anything that's even kind of rule breaky or anything that's, they left out some story beats, certainly, like you said, some plot, some important stuff to say to set up why this is happening, which of course they don't do in those books. But right. I definitely think it's the kind of thing that like you can kind of he's not a bad guy because he's sneak attacking somebody, and he's not because he's
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm saying it's lazy storytelling, and I'm saying it's a fundamental misunderstanding. Like you could do that with a Roman Reigns character, like even as he's currently presented, I think, because Roman is sort of a badass who does I don't know. I mean, maybe Roman's not the right example, but to me, Sami, like the appeal of Sami is sort of like the appeal of Bayley, which is that they are the last of the true blue baby faces. They're the underdog that fights to the end.
Okay.
He's the wrong character to be telling this with, and then you told it poorly.
So he's the guy.
Like if you have to go through this, if you have to if you have to appeal, I don't know. I don't buy your analogy like at all for this situation.
I was just going to say, actually, maybe this is better. I'm glad you said that, because maybe it's better to say that Roman's more that guy, in the sense of these are the good people who go, look, I can understand the need to kill these terrorists because of what damage they can do. I cannot be the one to dig the knife into the back of their fucking head because that's not in my makeup. I'm not that person. I can't be that guy. I know the need for that guy, and maybe Roman Reigns is that guy. He can be that guy and still be good, and there's a fine line to walk there. I can't be that guy. I can't do it that way. That's not my makeup. And that makes them, you can attract yourself to them differently, and maybe even have in a much more humanized way, because I couldn't imagine doing that to somebody, but I can absolutely imagine you can do it and I just don't want to see it, kind of thing. So you mean like that, like they wouldn't do that. They understand why it maybe needs to be done, but they could never actually do that because that's just not who they are. They would rather engage in that kind of thing in the different way that's more, across from each other and fucking fire kind of thing, like a whatever. Does that make sense? Is that what you're saying, essentially, that the kind of character he is wouldn't do that kind of thing because it's just not in his makeup?
I mean, even
if it's quote unquote,
yeah, I guess I would. I mean, I'm trying to not get too hung up on, because the fact that he or Bayley was one way in NXT obviously doesn't mean anything on the main roster. I mean, that's my own baggage that I'm bringing to it. But so I think that they're selling. Yeah, I mean, there's a character you could tell that story with. I don't think Sami's that character, and I don't think they're really telling that story. If you have to go, and I'm not just saying you, if anybody has to do a 10-minute justification of the story, they've failed.
Yeah,
in my eyes. I mean, I should be able to look at what's on screen. It's pretty black and white stuff. It's not, it's not fucking rocket science. It's great if I do need to do a dissertation on it because they've given me so many layers and so much context, but they haven't. They've lazily told a story, and now to try to make it work, we do all these mental gymnastics, and to me that means they've screwed up from the jump.
I think maybe even a good way to put it too is Roman Reigns is a killer. Sami Zayn is a competitor. I'm trying to hurt anybody. I'm trying to win and be the best.
I mean, to me, the appeal of Zayn, or the performer behind Zayn, who was also behind Generico, sorry everybody, has always been.
What do you mean?
That he doesn't. I mean, that was the whole NXT road. The Sami wins the big one story was because he would never cheat to win. Neville cheated to win and kept his title. Sami would never do it. He had a chance to do it, and he still wouldn't do it. That's why his getting destroyed by his friend hurts so much. It's the whole appeal of the character, and then you get him up on the main roster, and sort of like they're doing with Bayley, he just becomes another WWE dick face. And it doesn't fit at all.
But I won't do it the wrong way. There will never come a point where I'll do it the wrong way. Even though everything tells me I should. So I guess that's the better analogy. Like, Mitch Rapp will do it the wrong way, or he will do it in such a way to where as long as it gets done, the thing that matters is that it gets done. And with Sami, I have all these values, and I cannot break that.
I mean, I think you could. You could tell that story with Sammy, and it would probably be really powerful if Braun's reign of terror pushed him to the point where he had to bend his staunch moral standpoint. But they didn't do that here. He didn't even address it.
They kind of did, though. If that's the case, that's kind of what they've done here. But you're right; they left out. They took away the emotional impact of it by not even drawing attention to that fact. To go look at what he's doing. We know he's not this way, and Foley's not there to yell at him and get him hyped or some dumb shit like that.
I mean, it would be like that would be a really cool story if they had done something where like Braun escalated his attacks. He eventually took out Foley. I mean, I don't want to see that, but you could apply that. You could find a wrecked Foley backstage and Braun storming off. And then that's what pushes Sammy to come back and do whatever he has to stop this rampage. But I don't think they're that interested in putting Sammy over. This is a little thing to have Sammy do this week, and then Braun's going to move up the ladder. And maybe they'll try to like Sammy, but no, because then it'll keep it going if Sammy eliminates him from the Rumble. I don't think this is a long-term feud. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is their Mania program. Fuck. I'll be tired of it. I'll be tired of it if that keeps going, but.
Well, because they don't tell the story right. Like you said, that could have been very powerful, and they didn't go there at all. Like, they really didn't hammer that. It was just really, and that's maybe a testament to Vince, just because the idea is just, well, he's a big monster, and everything kind of goes.
I mean, like I said, I think it's achieving getting Strowman over, and they deserve credit for that, but I don't think it's doing anything else. That's
the lack of depth that we talk about and that we want is not, there's lacking there, but they're doing a good job with the other stuff. Because
it's like you said, and I tend to agree with you. If you don't want to watch this 6'10" dude fucking throw Christmas trees at Bo Dallas, I don't know why you're watching. That's fine. I mean, I understand if I'm not judging you, but maybe you should do something else with your Monday nights. But I don't think you can do that and other stuff, and they never really choose to do the and other stuff. It's just we're gonna give you this cool ass moment where he kills Bo Dallas with the Christmas tree, and I will be the first one to sit there and go, fucking yes. But then I don't. But then there's nothing behind it.
Fucking yes.
Just like I think that's a pretty good impersonation of what I did last night when that happened. So
yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, I can't believe we just spent 15 minutes talking about.
Well, I feel very passionately about Sami Zayn, so that's probably my fault.
And I feel very passionately about Braun Strowman, or as you called him, and I stole it, the Abominable Strowman.
I think Corey Graves has been calling him that. I think he stopped. Really? They're trying to get all kinds of nicknames over for him. The Raw preview called him the Monster Among Men, like in all caps, like it's an official title. They don't know what they want to do with his.
He's a big old meat slab, and I'm a big fan of it. I'll tell you that much.
I know you are.
What else is on the show that we could talk about? If we have to listen to 4 more talking segments involving Bayley and Charlotte, I'm not gonna. I won't do it. I'll bail on it, man. I can't deal with. Boy, that's bad, man. The Raw women's division, for as strong as it is, wrestling-wise, holy fuck, none of these women can cut a promo. Get them away from microphones. I mean, do you feel this way? These people are bad. They don't know what the fuck they're doing when the microphone.
I can with Charlotte, with her promo style. I want to see someone smash her face in, but I don't know if that's like by design or if it's just because she's talking really slow. Yeah. With weird inflections. With Bayley, Bayley is not a character that needs to go out there and have a 20-minute promo, which I guess is a problem because Vince wants everybody to fit into his boxes, or WWE Creative, whoever wants to fit everybody into their boxes instead of sort of adapting to their skills. I think she can convey a lot in a couple of sentences and by reacting to people, but I don't think she's somebody that, at least at this point in her career, is going to go out there and deliver the 20-minute Cena explain the program promo. Mm-hmm. And that's a bit of a problem. I don't know. I wasn't super feeling this. I like Nia Jax beating the shit out of Scarlett Bordeaux, but
I did. I really liked the idea behind it too. I was really inspired by, which it's kind of interesting that Sasha at all of 20 years old is inspiring other wrestlers who are also 20. I know that can happen. I mean, you can be inspirational to people who are much older than you, and that's fine. But isn't that kind of weird? Like, she's so young, and we forget that sometimes.
Well, it actually does fit with the story, though. That that they're making history and blah 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 blah. So that's nice. It's nice that they're paying attention to the story there.
Yeah, I actually was a big fan of that. I thought that's kind of a genius idea, that if you're giving Sasha the time off or you're taking her off TV, she doesn't even need to be there for it to be like, Sasha inspired me so much and I'm trying to achieve my dreams, and there's Nia to just get a better role model and just beats the fuck out of her. That's really, really good, effective stuff. Doesn't take very long. I liked it a lot.
And hopefully at some point Sasha will show up and say, stop beating up these women that look up to me. Yeah. And she won't just run in and sneak attack her from behind without saying anything and run away.
Yeah, probably not though. She probably will do exactly that.
Probably what'll happen. Yeah.
Or won't say a word. She'll just come back and go, I'm the boss, and then just drill her. And that'll be the whole story.
That was actually a pretty good impersonation of how she talks too when she's delivering.
Dead on, man. I put some peanut butter at the top of my mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Are we already done? Hell yeah.
That's the women's division. I don't know. Well, Cesaro and Sheamus kind of don't like each other.
Oh my god,
that's new and exciting.
I'm tired of it. Fuck off with this. You're the champs now. We still can't really get. I mean, it's consistent, great, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
I'm kind of with you. I will always enjoy watching Cesaro catch people and throw them around, but.
Yeah, but it's schoolyard shit, dude. It's just so.
So is that the official? Is New Day out of the title scene now? Is that it?
I guess
their rematch. So
you think they didn't win?
We did almost 500 days to lose to a makeshift tag team and get blown up on Raw.
That Foley
just Mick Foley's Frankenstein monster. Yes, that's true.
I can't lose you. I can't lose.
Silly me to downplay it. So the other tag scene, it's like sort of Bailey tie-in thing, is Cody Rhodes being upset about his dad.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know I think Bailey, it's kind of ridiculous.
Let's explain it. Bailey gave Goldust a teddy bear, and said, Dusty, I wouldn't be anything that I am today if it wasn't for your dad. And I loved him a lot, and I got you this for Christmas, and Merry Christmas, and love you, and all that good stuff. Goldust said, thank you. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. And I loved him too. And I love you too.
And he said Dusty loved you too. Was part, yeah.
Yeah, and he loved you too, and everything. This was great, yeah. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows show up. Call them nerds. Yeah, call them some nerd skis. And Carl Anderson ripped the head off the teddy bear.
The Dusty Bear, yeah.
The Dusty Bear. And Cody Rhodes did not like that. He was very upset. He said, I won't call anybody out. And he followed up today. He said his emotions.
Yeah, I updated the post that's in there.
But he said, I won't call anybody out. I'm not going to talk shit. All I'll say is, I hope the producer in that segment never knows what this feels like. And that's what he said.
And then he said he's not perfect. He just misses his dad. So, which I can relate to.
How do you feel?
I can understand. I think
have you lost your haven't your dad?
No, I have both my parents, and I'm not actually that close to them, so that's a whole different ball of wax. But
I can totally understand where he's coming from. Actually, I can't.
No, I lost. My favorite family member was my grandfather, who I lost a few years ago. So, and I still, there's still shit that I'll come across that he gave me or that reminds me of him that'll still fuck me up a little bit.
Sure.
So I can relate to that, but the thing that's weird about it is that it's not like, because to me, and I wrote this in the post, the thing that I was sort of a little bit more skeptical of, like, I didn't care that Carl Anderson ripped the head off of a teddy bear. That's fucking cheap heat stuff. I don't think it actually disrespects Dusty. It's just a bully being a bully on pro wrestling show. To me, it's a little bit weirder that they, used Dusty's memory to, try to help get Bailey over a little bit more, or, that to me would be the thing. Like, if you were going to get upset, it would be that. But even then, so even if that is the thing that you're upset about, Cody is the one who can't go anywhere without bringing up his dad while promoting himself, right? Even his new nickname is a spin on he's the American Nightmare, Dusty was the American Dream. Everything about his persona is I'm Dusty's kid when he's selling himself. So it's weird that, like, he can't, that his half-brother can't do that, because, this got Goldust on fucking TV and in an angle. So
an actual angle that doesn't involve comedy or dumb bullshit.
Right. So I don't, it's weird picking and choosing. Like, I mean, I guess he's pissed at WWE. They won't let him use his name, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess it's just that, and I guess that's what his second tweet is just saying, that, like, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going. He's got issues with the company. He misses his dad still, and he tweeted inappropriately as a result, or not inappropriately, but without thinking, I guess. So,
we all experience things in different ways, and we all experience the world in the way that we experience it. So it's hard to speak on things like this because I cannot. My dad's still with me. He got me the best Christmas gift ever just the other day. So I don't know how he feels. I cannot even imagine how he feels. I felt pain. Have never felt his pain. And pain is relative. In the moment, it's the worst thing that could ever be, or it's the worst thing that could possibly. You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Yep.
Okay. It's the absolute worst thing in the world, and my dad's gonna die someday. He's older, and I can't imagine how it's gonna feel. It's gonna suck, and I'm not even that close to him. From my perspective, as just a fan who sees that and knows the backstory and knows everything about what's going on with it, I don't mind. I mean, if you're good, to me, they didn't it wasn't like they said something negative about Dusty.
It wasn't the David Flair thing.
I was just going to say,
yeah,
if there was any time to get upset about something, it's that. For Paige to say he didn't have a lot of fight in him, did he? Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's like real, I don't.
That's like I mean, that's like slandering the legacy of some, and it's sort of a slap in the face of people who've lost people to addiction, and it's on and on and on. I mean, there's layers to how fucked up that one is.
But beyond anything, it's not just that it's a negative thing to do within a story standpoint, but this woman actually lost her brother.
Yeah.
And you just said to her he didn't have a lot of fight in him. I don't care if it is fiction story shit. I'll beat the fuck out of you. You know what I mean? I cannot believe that would be a thing that would be okay to say. So I can get that. Here, it's a teddy bear, and it's just you gotta, I don't know. There are people who are upset too, people who are apparently close to the family that were tweeting saying, don't give me this shit about Dusty, would have been okay with it. You don't know, A, B, even if that's the case, this sounds bad, but he doesn't matter anymore. He's dead. What matters are the people who are here, and does it affect them? So that's kind of a really super flimsy thing that people do. Well, they would have been okay with it. Well, they don't fucking matter because they're not here. He doesn't have feelings. He's dead. The people who do have feelings, those are the people who matter now. Are they okay with it? If Cody's not okay with it, it's kind of shitty. If Goldust is okay with it or not okay with it, let's say he's not and he just went with it, that's kind of shitty. That would be bad. Yeah. There's no reason to do it. You don't need to do that to service one match in a feud. It's not even a fucking feud. It's not even a program to make one match. The club probably be working with someone else next week. And does it help Bayley? You don't need to do it. You just don't. You could have not done that with her or had her involved in any way, and it would have been fine.
Oh, that's why I say, I mean, because people were saying, well, it's not to sell, they're not actually selling the bears, but they kind of, I mean, they're pushing those fucking bears. They're an incentive in their fucking merchandise crate deal. And they did that was the impetus for the whole fucking Cedric Alexander, Alicia Fox thing, was one of those stupid bears. So they are selling them.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's a cheap little throwaway angle that may not even be followed up on. It's just because Raw's 3 hours and they need to fill 3 hours. So yeah, that to me, yeah.
If you're gonna do it with something that matters. If you're gonna do the David Flair thing, you do it in the way they did in the main event to build to a title match, whatever, in a big, impactful way. I mean, it's a big one. It hit like a ton of fucking bricks. Like, whoa,
yeah,
holy shit. And this was just kind of blink and you miss it. If you got up to take a piss, you didn't see this. So it just feels like it's a big impact for something that didn't matter. The juice in this instance, not worth the squeeze.
Well, I
don't mind doing the angle. Again, anything to get heat. I'm one of those people at this point. If it make you hate it, do it. Of course, there are lines. I don't want to see rape angles. You know what I mean? I don't like stuff like that. But essentially, damn near anything. Because as long as everyone involved is okay, and we'll go with it and it's cool. And this is a case where, Cody wasn't cool with it. And I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for the guy because it must hurt like hell. And you know how it is to be sensitive to things too. In situations like that, where something happens and, it doesn't even have to be a death. I mean, you could be grieving anything that you're grieving. You could be grieving a cat passing away. And then, they do something with a cat. Someone does something with a cat, or they get a new cat. A friend of yours gets a new cat that looks kind of like yours, and you fucking break down like a psycho. And it's like, oh my God, I can't even deal with this emotionally right now. And it's like, what? It's just a new cat that's making your friends happy, So you get like this weird sensitivity when you're grieving things. And I can't even imagine the grief that comes with losing a parent. And it's been some time, but they were obviously very close. So, and like he said, I just miss him. Like, it's just shit like that. I imagine it probably fucked him up, man. I can just imagine the pain in his gut watching it. And then it makes me feel bad because it's just wrestling.
Yep.
You don't need to do it. It's just fucking wrestling. It's stupid shit. If you're going to go serious, go so serious and in service of a great story, not a lower mid-card throwaway thing on a Raw that no one will remember. So that's how I feel.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were talking about this on the award-winning pre-show too. I just always wonder, especially with a wrestler. I mean, he knew that he was going to get a ton of attention. That tweet was going to get a ton of attention, right? I mean, he's not thinking. I mean, he didn't send an email to a friend saying this upset me. He put it out on fucking Twitter during the show. Yeah. So
hundreds of thousands of people. That's your whole thing about doing that. That's who's going to see it.
So I don't know. I mean, so there's a little bit of the business in him even tweeting that, kind of. I mean, I don't know, maybe not, but to me, that's.
I mean, like being a part of the angle.
No, well, I mean, knowing that like I said, this is my whole thing. Like, Cody's never been afraid of bringing up his dad for his own promotion.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird to me that I mean, I don't know, it's a weird response to like send out a cryptic tweet.
Yeah, so. Making his displeasure known, maybe.
I guess. Sort of. Yeah. I mean,
just stay away from it in the future, I guess. I mean, well, it's not like they don't do a lot of good things too. I mean, they did the tournament and they did they honor him with video packages and things like that, and the Hall of Fame stuff and all that. I mean, it's not like they're not shitty. They don't treat him shitty. I mean, they treat him
shitty at the end of his run. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, things tend to have. I don't know. I was gonna say things. They have the power you let them have, but that's not even really true in its own way. It's just. I feel for him, but as far as
I don't want anybody to feel shitty.
Yeah.
Ever really, but I just this is. It's also. I mean, it's a little bit of like. I mean, there's a little outrage culture, and I mean, there's a lot of layers to.
Sure.
I mean, what's going on there, but. So I mean, I don't want Cody to feel shitty. So it sucks that happened, but I didn't have a problem with the angle per se. I mean,
it does feel like there's a layer of like everything you do and everything you say, you can't know if it's okay these days. Doesn't it feel like that?
Yep.
There's an outrage culture.
I don't know. I think I was reading or I saw something John Cleese from Monty Python was talking about. Like, I mean, that's sometimes some of these things are supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. It's like we're not promised to never be upset about anything.
Yeah, why is that a bad thing?
I mean, I don't think you should. I don't think anybody should go around trying to upset people on purpose all the time, and certainly not over something sort of trivial like a lower mid card angle. But at some point you just got to go like, that was just a thing. And my dad a lot of people just remembered my dad. Because that's the other thing, too. Like, the response, at least in my Twitter timeline, was, like, instantly positive. People were like, oh, man, I miss Dusty. Oh, I'm in my feelings now, blah, 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 blah. Nobody was like, those bastards.
I can't believe they ripped the head off that
tweet. Yeah, I mean, even the ripping I mean, I don't think anybody even focused on the ripping the head off. Everybody was just like, oh, I kind of miss Dusty, too.
And they've done angles where it was, I mean, the Paul Bearer stuff with Punk and Undertaker. I mean, where it was like, I don't know about this shit. He's dumping his ashes out. Like, this is those aren't really his. I know, but it's the idea. Shut up, clown. Like, plus, at what point I'm not responsible for whether or not you're offended by some shit. Like, and that's the other thing too is that I'm offended. Okay. What do we do now? What happens now? I don't.
Right.
I gotcha. I noted. Like, there's this strange, like, it's what you'd hear from a certain crowd is they would say that's the pussification of the world. I've heard that many
Right.
times. I think that's horseshit. At the same time, it's like I've definitely run into on Twitter, especially with people sometimes. I have takes sometimes, and I don't care. I'll say the shit. I was told the other day, like, you don't give a shit at all on the podcast. You'll say all kind of shit. You called Seth Rollins a cunt the other day. I say, and then people do that. It's like they expect me to take care of their feelings. And no, that's your job, fam, not mine. Like, I understand sometimes maybe something I say offends you or hurts your feelings or makes you feel kind of bad. I certainly don't want you to feel bad, but it's on me if I'm personally attacking you. But like, I'm not gonna like censor. Like, I think it's shitty to think that people should censor who they are or how they are if it's not deliberately attacking you, just because you might be kind of offended. It's like, why is that the worst state to be in? I mean, like you said, some of the shits you're not supposed to feel comfortable. Especially in this case, you're not supposed to feel comfortable. You're supposed to feel kind of hurt by it. Cody, even as a fan watching the show, or he's attached to it, so we feel weird about it. But like, it's kind of, they achieved the result that they were looking for. Feel bad. Yeah. I'm glad you feel bad. Now let's hope Goldust and R-Truth go kick their ass. It's kind of flimsy because it's dumb wrestling, but. Yep. I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah, but you're still making your career off of dumb wrestling, and your dad is famous. The only reason he's on the show is because of dumb wrestling. I mean, it
gets to that loop where it's weird because, like, not to bring this up again, but I said, please no more. When Sasha came out, I said, please no more crying. I can't deal with the crying. I was essentially accused of sexism. I said, well, someone said, don't stop telling women or anyone what to do. Okay, I could say the same thing to you. Stop fucking telling me what I can and can't say just because you have a feeling about it. Like, it's all inherently selfish. I feel triggered or offended or hurt or weird by what you said. You shouldn't be making me feel weird. You're somehow bad. You need to correct your behavior. As opposed to, well, maybe you shouldn't feel weird about the thing that I'm saying. Stop telling me to not do the thing that I'm doing that makes you feel weird. You're responsible for your own fucking feelings, just like I'm responsible for mine. Like, it's okay. And if you don't like it enough, it's okay to just get up and walk away. Stop participating in this thing if it makes you feel bad. Like, you don't have to necessarily change it. And then even saying this, we're probably going to get in trouble because people are going to go, well, what, you don't want change for the better? Well, what equals better? I want wrestling to fuck with me sometimes. I want it to piss me off to an insane degree so that later it can make me happy. Like, I want to feel the full spectrum of emotions, and I want it to do those things to me. I want to feel kind of uncomfortable, and I want to feel really fucking mad, and I want to feel moderately mad, and I want to feel kind of happy, and I want it to make me smile, and then I want to feel absolute fucking euphoria. I want to feel the joy that exists when a big monster baby-faced looking dude is carrying a Christmas tree as though he's going to use it like a bazooka. Like, that's funny. That's awesome. I want that. I'm willing to put up with all the other stuff to get to that. And there's layers of that. You don't have to be a fucking activist to change every little goddamn thing that you need to change. Oh, we need to do this more, and we got to be better about this, and we need to take these people's feelings into account. No, we don't. We really don't sometimes. It goes way too fucking far. Like, you can't, like, I'm George Carlin at this point. Like, you can't even say the words. Like, the way we've changed words, we've changed our language to make it easier for people. Like, you never say someone died. You say they passed away. You soften shit. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, for the purposes of what we're saying, like, it's not shell-shocked. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, if you call it post-traumatic stress disorder, it sounds so like it doesn't sound like what it is. Shell-shocked is like in your fucking face, like, this person's fucked up because they were at war and they're traumatized. It's post-traumatic stress disorder. It sounds so not like what it actually is. And it's very much the kind of, that's what you do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to where we can't even say things for what they are because someone gets upset about it. Like, we live in a world where we're perennially upset. It kind of sucks, especially when we're in wrestling. The fucking idea is for you to be upset. Sometimes it's okay if you're upset. Let yourself be upset, and don't try to change that. I guess.
I guess. I mean, I think. I don't think it's a. I mean, I think the problem comes in and, like, is when you're not is that people don't have fucking discussions about this stuff. Like it's like, I
Mhm.
mean, last Wednesday on Twitter, there was a big blow up because somebody wrote a thing saying that feminist wrestling Twitter was that basically like pussified over like the Enzo angle. And then people freaked out. I mean, and a lot of like really like friends of Cage Side, like Alex Greenfield and Trina were like in the middle of fucking wrestling war over this shit on Twitter.
Mhm.
And
I missed this.
I'm not. Yeah, go back and look at it. It's a lot of fun. You know the guy. You know the guy that started it too.
I think I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I didn't miss that. Yeah.
And it's like the problem isn't that it's not okay to critique the angle. The problem isn't that it's not okay to react to the angle. It's the problem is that we go to like yelling at each other immediately, and it's or somebody tries to like, you know, is their point is the hot take culture problem, where it's like the point is that they're just trying to piss people off. They're not trying to have a discussion about, you know. So it's not like the fact that we call it post-traumatic stress disorder isn't in and of itself it's a problem. It's like, do we talk about why we changed that, or do we talk about, you know, what that means, those sorts of things, instead of just yelling about it? If that makes any sense. I don't want. I mean, if you're upset, I don't want to say you can't be upset. You can, but I you know.
But I also don't want to coddle you.
Right. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't expect the response to just be, okay, we'll never do that again.
To deal,
we should be able to have a dialogue about why you're upset. Okay, I understand that. Now here's why I think this, you know, this is still an important thing that we should be able to do on a wrestling show. Oh, okay. You know, have a fucking dialogue about it instead of just wrong. No, you're wrong. Bar.
Yeah, it's finding understanding. The response to you being upset should not be, let's find what we can do to never make you upset again. It can be, tell me why you're upset. Okay, I understand. Okay, well, here's why this happened the way it did, and I understand it upset you, but this is why this happened the way it did. That's not necessarily justifying even so much as it's just, here's the state of what this is. I remember that I was very uncomfortable with things, and I was very, because it devolved immediately. It didn't start as a discussion.
No, exactly.
What's funny is, and I'm friends with all those people, Greenfield, Trina, all those people. I like them. They're all great. They're fans of Cage Side, friends of the site. We're friends of theirs. We support what they do. I did not like how they reacted to the initial thing. It was Snowden, I believe.
Yes,
the one who said it from Bleacher Report.
Yep.
And I kind of agreed with this point. I believe what he said, and I don't want to get it wrong. I'll paraphrase, and I could be wrong. You should go look it up yourself if you want to know on his Twitter. He said something like, I'm less interested in hearing about how people support women's wrestling fans, or like the fact that they're women's wrestling fans, and I just want to hear more from that perspective from the women, right?
Well, that was eventually. I mean, I think the inciting incident was him saying that, you know, you shouldn't expect anything from the Enzo character. Like, you shouldn't be shocked that this character is.
Well, the tweet that kickstarted it was just him saying, I'm less interested in your grandstanding of like, hey, I'm a women's wrestling fan, look at me, and more interested in just simply reading the perspectives that women's wrestling fans have. And people just bombed him. They didn't ask him to clarify. They weren't like, hey, I'm kind of interested more in what you had to say with this. Like, they took it negatively immediately, like they were being attacked, and were like, fuck this guy. And everyone just bombed him. And I was really disappointed in that, because I'm like, I kind of agree in a way. There definitely is. There are some people, fine, turn it on me. There are some people abso-fucking-lutely who make their name just because they've decided, oh, I'm this and I'm this fan, so this is what, and they call attention to that. And in some ways, maybe that's fine, but it doesn't. I don't know how meaningful it really is, because what are you really doing with that? Like, do you really want to be known just because that's what you represent yourself as? I think maybe that's part of what he was trying to say, is just so much as get in here and be a part of the discussion, and we'll all be a part of the discussion, and we'll respect. I am not respected in this space just because I'm a guy who talks about wrestling. I'm respected because I've done enough, or I've built up a body of work to be respected, and they can do the same thing. Now, that doesn't mean that there doesn't, like you said, need to be a discussion about the challenges they face simply because they're women, right? And that certainly exists. That's something to be talked about. I think that's maybe a separate thing. And I think you could get to an understanding with that by having a discussion, and that never happened. They just bombed him. It was just, I don't care about your point of view. I don't care about your perspective. Fuck you. You're clearly a piece of shit. And it's like, I mean, he can incite some stuff, and I know he's got a certain way about him that people don't like, and I can appreciate that. That's fine. But like you said, I mean, the idea, right, is to have a discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's just not attack. And that's what happened. Everyone that we're in good with, they just bombed him. And I was like, man, that's kind of disappointing. And he took it back, and then it just devolved into nothingness. And no one was better off coming out of that. They all look like shit. Every one of them. I ain't excluding anybody. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the part. I mean, to me, it's like the Twitter problem too. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I guess most things. To me, most things are a lot more complex than just saying like that was a bad tweet, that was a bad response. There was a lot of problems here, and yeah, I mean. But I mean, I think that's a valid point too. But there's also issues of, you know, you're not where you are today because you're a white guy, but you were much more likely to be given the position you got because you were a white guy. I mean, there weren't a lot. I mean, so that's, you know, but again, that's not something that's easily solved in 140 characters or less. It's not even a discussion that's easily had in 140 characters or less, and that's where we're at. So, like, I mean, I would rather hear. I mean, it's like. It's not that different from the discussion about Sasha and Charlotte. Like, well, we just want to get to the point where it's just a main event. We don't talk about it as being a women's main event, but we have to take some steps to get there. And so people do have to identify themselves. They have to brand themselves as I'm a women's voice on wrestling, as opposed to just saying, because otherwise they do get a lot of blowback that we wouldn't get because we're not women. So,
and even within that too. And I feel like there's all these like opinions that people seem to have, and they kind of, and one problem we have too, and I'll say we, is we kind of, when you do that, you tend to group them together, right? It's inherently sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Where everyone's just sort of put into a box, where it's like they're all the same, whatever the word is for that. And that's not the case. You're kind of limiting the unique perspectives on that. I'll give you an example. Some of them, there's plenty of women out there who would say that drives everything that I do is this experience that I have as a woman who goes to wrestling shows, as a woman who watches wrestling, whatever, and this kind of that. I can't not have that be a part of the discussion because it's unique and special to me and how I look at things. Okay, fine. People who may listen to it, Celia Bloom did a whole monologue on her show talking shit about this very thing and said, I don't want to talk about this anymore. The whole gender discussion is such that I get it. I acknowledge what it is. I acknowledge everything about it, but it'd be cool if we could all just sit and talk and that doesn't come up, which is essentially what WWE finally is getting to where they can main event with Charlotte and Sasha and no one mentions it. And I think maybe that's even what Snowden was saying, where it's like, look, I don't want to talk about how you're a woman in the wrestling space. I'd rather just talk about wrestling, and the fact that you're a woman doesn't matter either which way. Isn't that kind of the goal? Shouldn't the fact that we just be able to talk about it without the gender being the thing?
Absolutely, we should. But wishing that to be so doesn't make it so. It's like, oh well, we racism should be over. We shouldn't talk about it. But black people are still discriminated against every day.
It's true.
It's like, and you can't. It's like, yeah, and I respect. And there are a lot of women, or there are a lot of people of color who don't want to talk about it anymore either, and you have to respect that opinion too. But it's not like, I can stop being a wrestling fan tomorrow. Somebody can't necessarily stop being a woman. They can't necessarily stop being black. It's not. So yeah, it'd be great if we didn't focus on that. But at some point you do have to focus on it, or nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Like pretending it's not important anymore doesn't mean it's not important anymore.
That's true. I think that's fair, and I think, but also can't you then say that when it's appropriate, that can be a part of the discussion when appropriate, as opposed to, I don't want to. We don't need the, hey, look at me, I'm a female wrestling fan, that kind of stuff.
Well, then, I don't know what that. Nobody's forcing you to listen to that. Then, so if there's obviously people who like that, right? Those Twitter personalities, those online, those YouTube people, they have a following. So let that. I don't understand the hate follow of that. Like, I'm just going to be here just to bomb you whenever you say something. That's like what True, that's what Trina got into with that guy that we talked about last week, where he was just like, "Who cares what you think?" And then a bunch of horrible things that he said to her, and that was like, why? who cares enough to follow? And we get some of that too, but I think it's empirically true that women online get it worse than men online. Just
yeah.
Why are you following me just to tell me to shut up? Just don't follow me.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's part of it too. Where do you want to have a discussion? Because we could do that, but if you don't, then, and maybe that's ultimately the big issue. The bigger issue maybe in this one was just that no one had a discussion. They just attacked. They heard one thing, and the opinion was different than the one they hold, and they just bombed. That's bad, man. That sucks.
I mean, I think it started with a little bit inflammatory. I mean, the use of the word grandstanding is a little bit, it's big. But like you said, that's Snowden's.
I'm not sure that's the exact term you used.
Well, I know, but I think there is.
Right.
I mean, or just his reputation. And I'm not defending the response based on that, but people they responded based on.
He built a reputation for himself. Yeah.
I mean, and that's. He knows that. And that's how, and so, but exactly. I mean, none of it, like you said, I think everybody sort of, I don't know, everybody was on it. I feel like all week last week, everybody was on fucking edge. I don't know if it was that.
Holidays or.
Yeah, the Enzo angle from the jump, I don't know, but yeah, and then that got thrown in the middle of it, and then like the fucking Twitter burned down on Wednesday for a while, or Thursday, whatever day it was.
Some of this problem too is like you have no context. If you were to ask me on Twitter, Gino, is murder okay? And I were to say yes, people would fucking go nuts. How many people do you think would ask for context? Murder being, well, I guess I don't know the concrete definition of murder, but I'm thinking, is killing another person okay? And I were to say yes, it would be a bad answer in a way, because I don't necessarily feel like in any situation, but in some situations I feel I think it might be appropriate. If that's what again, this is an example. I'm not saying that I believe these things, but there's no context there. And how many people would ask for the context? How many people would go, well, can you expand on that? What do you mean? Because you're limited to the 140 characters. You're limited to, I can only say so much within this without doing a tweet storm, which are the worst. I hope that trend dies in 2017. Yeah. One listed through 38 tweets. Just put it on a note in your iPhone and upload the screenshot. Good Lord, people. Or say, yeah, it's okay. If someone rapes 10 people and then kills 5 others, you could probably kill that fucking guy. That means I'm okay with killing someone, right? Then yeah, is it okay? Yes. In that instance, yes. But you didn't have the context of that, and you maybe thought of it, whatever you thought. You just thought of the act of a human killing another human, and that's wrong and inherently bad. It gets into deeper philosophical things and morality plays and shit like that, and you can't get to that, which is why. You shouldn't just respond to something you see that you immediately disagree with an attack. Try to understand, try to learn more. What the fuck's the problem with that? Maybe ask him what he means. Hey, can you elaborate more on what you mean? And if he says something else and it bothers the shit out of you, like, wow, I could not disagree with you more. That opinion kind of sucks in my opinion, but right on, man. You're allowed to have it. Later. And don't fucking talk to him anymore if you don't like it. Like, why is that not the thing that we can do? Like, there's a billion people on Twitter. You don't need to be right in his shit. He can have his space where he's like that. That's okay. Like, we're not, I don't know. And that's like, if someone's sexist and it's like, it's the mission to stamp all that out. And I don't even know if that's even an idea that could happen. I mean, I don't know. That's getting into if they're in their space being shitty like that, then fine, go be shitty in that space. I'll just stay away from it. Whereas other people are like, no, we got to get that space completely wiped off the map. Which one of those is the right way to be? I don't know. At this point, I don't even fucking know.
I mean, that's like I said. I mean, it goes. I think we talked about it like prior to the election and things. I mean, for me personally, I can't get in there because it fucking wrecks my whole like mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So it's not. I mean, I don't think anybody's mind has ever been changed on Twitter. I will be happy if somebody can point me to the case where it happens, but it's just everybody's fucking dug in, and there's not a whole lot of dialogue going on. So
no one seems to want to have a conversation where they want to be more understanding of the other person's point of view. It does happen, but it just seems a whole lot more like, this is mine and it's right, and that's yours and it's wrong, and I'm going to make sure you know it. I don't know what good that does for anybody. I think that's it for wrestling on Raw, at least. You excited for SmackDown tonight? No,
not really.
What the fuck are the wild card finals? They keep saying that. I'm like, what does that mean? What finals of what wild card? You just said 3 words and that was it.
My guess from I put in the preview, I think they just wanted this is their pay-per-view level show to fill the gap between TLC and Royal Rumble, because the way the things broke out, they have 2 months in between big shows. So they just picked that as they picked a name. And so that's because it doesn't. I mean, at one point, we talked about this in the orifices, they rewrote. I mean, our SmackDown recapper may think it is the platonic ideal of a perfect wrestling show, but they rewrote this shit on the fly like it was a Raw. I mean, the preview had they were going to do a tag match that was going to feature Mojo and a couple other people in a 3-way to decide the new #1 contender. Then they scrapped that. Then they went to something else. Then they announced the title match for next week without any preliminaries on the way there. I mean, I'm glad it works out so that everybody's digging the show, but they still make the fucking sausage the same way they make Raw, pretty much. And so they did that.
And that's funny because
Go ahead.
Someone tweeted at me last week while they were clearly rewriting everything. They were like, how is this the same show as Raw? I was like, how is this the same people who make it? I'm like, it's funny you say that on a night. They're literally rewriting it right fucking now.
I mean, maybe Vince listens to somebody a little bit more on SmackDown. Maybe it's like Triple H said in that interview about NXT where he was, kind of being his shithead self. But the point is to have shows that feel different. So, you're digging the way they want to make SmackDown feel. SmackDown is tailored for you, the internet wrestling fan, right now. So, but they're still making it it's still the same people making it the same way. They've just decided they want to appeal to a different audience with it. So,
and if it feels different, that's a good thing. Be happy with that. I mean, it's not the A+++++ that Swift fucking claims it is. Swift's out of his mind.
I don't get why everybody's so obsessed with I want to know who wrote it, and I want to know who. I mean, so what? You like it, right?
Yeah,
that's good.
I want to know what drug Swift's on because I'd like 3 of them.
I mean, I like SmackDown. I will confess to tuning out a little bit from SmackDown because it's, especially on a pay-per-view week, it's the one show that I don't have to be fucking on. I have to be on for Raw. NXT's my beat. We split the pay-per-views. So SmackDown's the one that I can sort of keep an eye on in case you need help and get ready to post results for 205 Live. I don't have to be in it. So I do kind of tune it out. Just But I want to enjoy, but I'm not super fired up that it's, it hasn't changed my life.
Yeah, I want to enjoy anything in life as much as Swift enjoys literally anything that happens on SmackDown. Vince McMahon could come out and fart on that show, and Swift would figure out a way to act like the wind. Yeah, the wind helped a bee get its wings in fucking Asia or some shit. Love you, Swift. Jesus. Great. You need to grade on a curve from here on out. As if we're doing all the SmackDown.
He's done grading because it's too perfect for grades. So
thank God, because boy, that was getting a painful thing to look at.
You were gonna spell out bop or whatever for a while, so we can't really talk.
Gorgeous is what I was doing. But
that's right. I forgot.
No, because come on, man. I said every pay per view of 2016 graded, and all the SmackDown shows are A+. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
No, they're not. No, they're fucking not. Unless you're on PCP right before the show goes on the air.
No, I can't. I mean, most of my NXT grades are somewhere in between C and B+. So.
Yeah, you're too scared to go below or above.
Well, I generally enjoy the show, so it's I don't love it a lot of I rarely love it, but I even less often hate it. So I'm just. I mean, that's me. I'm
whole thing's like, yeah, I wouldn't bet.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole fucking personality. So I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. I mean, there are 3 title matches. You say SmackDown's the one show you cannot pay attention to. Tonight, I'm gonna be busy as shit. So I might.
I'll be around. Like I said, just hit me and tell me what you want to cover. Yeah, I mean that's.
Every damn thing is everything they do tonight. Cena returns, Alexa versus Becky.
Like I said, it's a mini pay-per-view.
6 corners, a 6 corners of #1 contender tag title match. AJ versus Baron versus Dolph, which is just a shitty triple threat for a title, especially the world.
People are already hoping that Undertaker shows up, but I kind of hope that Undertaker came back, and when he said that WrestleMania will no longer define his legacy, he meant that he's just retiring. And it was just the most low-key retirement speech ever. Like, yeah, I'm done.
You guys better win, or I'm gonna fucking bury every one of you. And then they did, and so
they
he's
won.
like, all right,
So
I'm good.
All right, we're good. Later.
They won. I'm not needed here.
I'm gonna go stalk LeBron James.
No shit, and get fucking big leagued by LeBron.
Yep.
Who's out there? LeBron, Undertaker's out there. Oh, he didn't ask me first, so tell him to go fuck himself.
Ain't doing that.
Which is really fucking great. Is that it? I think that's it. We can get the fuck
I don't know.
Here, and all you motherfuckers can
go fuck yourselves.